And we're live. Hello and welcome, everyone. It's time for another forward looking, wonderful episode of IT Career in Australia channel. And today's topic is navigating your UX career in AI driven world. So, we all know AI is rapidly reshaping how we design and deliver user experience, and UX professionals need to adapt fast. So, in this session, Sam will share insights on how AI is transforming UX landscape, the skills he will need to stay relevant, and some opportunities as well as challenges that shift will bring for your career. So obviously, bring your questions. Don't forget to introduce yourself in the comments. Say hi. Let us know where you're watching us from. Let us know if you're in the UX design or what sort of the role you are currently in, or maybe you're thinking to move your career to UX design. So please share it in the comments. If you forgot for any reason, I'm Jana Martins. I'm here pretty much every Wednesday with different guests talking about the various topics about IT career in Australia. And if you're watching me on YouTube, as usual, make sure to connect with me on LinkedIn. If you're watching us on LinkedIn, make sure to connect with me to subscribe to YouTube channel. And of course, join my meetup group as well, because in my meetup group is a lot of exciting face-to-face events in different cities right now. We're doing a lot of tech walking at the moment. We did one in Adelaide last weekend. So a lot of things coming. So I'll let you know, give you a bit of a heads up at the end of the stream. So, and make sure to stay to the end because there is a giveaway as usual at the end too. Anyway, that's enough of me. I'm gonna pass it on to Sam to introduce himself, please.
Thanks, Jana. Hey, everyone. My name's Sam. Some of you may know me. I've been in design consulting my whole career, about 14 years now, mostly with enterprise organizations within the finance and insurance industry. Over about 2-3 years ago, I then moved to build out my own consultancy, which is Celestial. And we play with mostly within the UX research and strategy space, bit of service design as well, and then also closely with early stage startups where we build out functional MVPs using no code tools. So kind of a bit of a emphasis of what we do. In terms of how I utilize AI, this is what we'll be kind of diving into in the rest of the session. But yeah, excited to dive in and jump into the content.
Perfect. Guys, as usual, don't forget to say hi, because if you're not saying hi, we don't know that you're here, and that's not nice. So yes, make sure to say hi in the comments on both platforms, YouTube or LinkedIn, and we're gonna, dive straight to the exciting content and guess focus on all these shiny AI tools today, but also give you a bit of an overview on UX career too. Okay, Sam, I guess the starting point was to talk a little bit about your AI toolkit. What you've been using recently, what do you get excited about, what's not that exciting?
Yeah, so I guess kind of different horses for courses. Within the research space, we do a lot of interviewing, and with those interviews, the importance there is to start synthesizing down some of the insights that we do get. So utilizing your AI transcripts from Zoom, Askable as well, which is a user research panel platform. You can get those transcripts, put them directly into a notebook. So Notebook LLM is a great tool to start synthesizing down and build out some key patterns that you hear from that. And then with being able to identify some of those key patterns and trends, you can quickly get to the crux of what you want to achieve from those areas. In addition to that, your kind of all-rounder is your ChatGPT, Claude. they're great to kind of do your day-to-day type stuff. From that can be from prompt engineering to identify some of the key themes or synthesis that you want to get out of a research study, or in addition to that, looking at prompting for UI specific type of tools or problem spaces. Within the UX UI specific world, I utilize tools like Reloom. So Reloom is a fantastic tool where you can build front facing landing websites through a simple prompt. What it will do is provide you with a series of wireframes. Those wireframes, I would say, 5-6 years ago, would have taken you a week to build out some of those wireframes. The reason to do that is to essentially get one, content, and two, get a first pass which you can put forward in front of a client to start discussing about okay, well, how can we start to build out a high fidelity prototype? How can we start to get to the cool and end part of the high fidelity to build and make sure that you are enacting change. In addition to that, also use your no code type tools like your Bolt, Lovable. They are fantastic to get from 0 to 1 relatively quickly. What I've used quite extensively is if you're doing something like a simple sketch and then throwing that sketch into a Lovable to generate a prototype is a nice way to really dive into expediting that end-to-end UX process.
Yeah, and we're gonna jump to a little demo a little bit later. But I guess before we get into like specifics of this tool, maybe let's do a bit of a high-level picture. What do you think? What's the current situation in UX market? How designers can actually stand out. Like, do you feel like people actually hiring UX designers these days?
Yeah, the reality of it is, so I also teach at Harness projects where we do like career accelerator courses for UX, and with that we've seen that UX hiring has slowed over the last few years. I would say after that kind of COVID bubble of 2021 to 22, there was I would say it was quite bloated. You had quite bloated teams, and there is that natural trimming of those teams as things do get a bit mature. I guess with that there is the implication of AI coming into things, which means people can do a lot more when it comes to UX. As mentioned earlier, something that could take a week, you can now be done in a matter of like minutes or hours. So that has mean that in order to ensure that you make yourself marketable and can get yourself into UX, you need to be a lot more targeted around applying for roles and ensuring that you are showcasing your superpower.
Yeah. And do you think it's much harder for someone early in their career, or it's I guess challenging for everyone at the moment?
Um, I I think it's always been traditionally quite hard, no matter like where you've started within your career. My first role that I attained after university, I applied to 150 jobs, and there was that one organization which took a chance on me. I probably didn't have that opportunity. I shouldn't have actually got that role, but managed to get that through being the right fit for the organization, it's hard. It is really hard. It was hard 14, 15 years ago, and I'd say it's just as hard, if not harder now. So it's a tricky one.
Yeah, I guess it's a lot of we see more and more ChatGPT applications and more and more AI assessments and things like that. So yes, so it's definitely been challenging. Do you think like people also start just creating their portfolios with AI and just putting out there? Is it a thing in the UX world at the moment?
There are some tools which you can utilize and use with Webflow. There's now an AI functionality where you can build a whole website with a prompt. The one problem with your portfolio is it requires one craft to ensure that you are able to build that end-to-end story, to uh, essentially capture the attention of the hiring manager, and two, in order to have that end-to-end consistency within the designs and use cases and portfolio across your end-to-end role. So I have seen it does take a couple of months to really kind of build out your end-to-end portfolio. Again, going back to harness projects, and people that have kind of completed those courses, they do require that additional input to build out that, and it UI and AI can help to really get to that next level, but there is a lot of manual work still involved there.
Yeah. And I guess, we on this channel, we do talk a lot about, I guess, UI tools, AI tools helping people to craft their resumes and help, do the research about the company. Is anything you would mention specifically for UX career? What's people should be doing then they looking for the next role? How they can utilize the AI tools the most effectively?
I think it's more about being super laser focused around what particular role you want within the industry. Within design, there's hundreds of different job titles out there. It could be UX designer, it could be UI engineer. That it depending on the organization, it depends on what they call it from a terminology perspective. If you have a end view of where you want to go, whether that's an industry vertical or a particular expertise, make sure that you are building to talk to that particular industry or skill set. So if you're really interested in, say, UI design as opposed to UI to UX research, then make sure that your portfolio is geared towards that that expertise. If you do a cookie cutter approach and try and apply for any type of role that that is across what you see on the screen, then you're not going to get the results that you really want. You're gonna get turned down. You're gonna see a lot of job roles kind of go to the keeper, and you're gonna be back at square one. So have that laser focused view on where you want to go, and then utilize things like ChatGPT to prompt and ensure that your use cases and portfolio pieces are telling a story that the hiring manager wants to hear and is infused about.
Yeah, we had a session recently talking about best ChatGPT prompts for finding your first tech job, and Marion Bowen gave like a really, really specific like example and like the big prompts that you can put like to do that research. And it's actually pretty much can spew you out the, list of the companies that advertising at the moment and things like that. So you can really, target your search with those tools. And before it's probably was sort of harder to understand maybe the difference and stuff. But I think like now, would you say that ChatGPT give you pretty good answers to understand the difference between those roles and the pathways?
Depends what you put in as a prompt, and how you interpret what it gives you back. What I have liked about ChatGPT is you can create your own GPTs and then give it a very specific set of instructions. So if you're looking at building out a case study for your portfolio and you have a specific process that you want to follow, you can give those instructions to the GPT. So every time that you're going to create a new case study or you're trying to iterate on something, you don't need to give those instructions again and again. It already has that within the knowledge base. So that's a good way to go. There's also some kind of pre-built chat GPTs within the GPT store, which you can look at going into and playing around with. I would always go back to it's a test and learn type of approach, and then aligning to the story that you want to tell. Going to examples like there's a book by Donald Miller called Building a Story Brand, and the way that he discusses how to tell a story is a very specific framework. And if you keep to those like 4 or 5 steps, then you're able to keep the attention. You're able to keep it concise, and that can provide a really kind of telling nature to your end-to-end case study and portfolio.
Yeah, I guess people are all excited about like how AI gonna change the role and how you can use the AI tools in UX. And I know you have a little demo there, so you mentioned a few tools that you've been using. So maybe just before, like, tell us a little bit about those tools. That you've been using for different parts of the role.
Yeah, sure. So we've got Bolt and Lovable. Bolt and Lovable are your kind of standard no code prompting tools. So you can give it a prompt, say that you want to create a dashboard, and then it will spit out a dashboard based off of what you prompted. That's actually building out code behind the scenes. So it might be a React application. The initially it's kind of purely front end, but then it also builds in things like APIs, so you can actually have a working product at the end of it. This is actually quite powerful for those that traditionally designers haven't been required to code. In the future, there may be a molding of designers that are now kind of prompt engineers. They're able to prompt a series of requirements to then build out a working product as opposed to a working prototype, which has traditionally been the case with using things like Figma. Figma also have a product out there at the moment called Figma Make, which is their version of Bolt and Lovable. Again, you provide it a prompt. It then provides a series of working product and code to represent what you have what you've prompted it. Again, it's slightly. I think it's only been in the market for a few months, so it's relatively quite new compared to Bolt, Lovable and other tools out there. But the benefit of things like Figma is that you can directly feed in some of the UI that you've created within your design system and library. So really interesting in terms of how that can be created. And by doing this, it just really kind of speeds up the speed of iteration, and also going from 0 to 1 relatively quickly.
And so do you think that I guess the success in UX, going forward, will really depend on how you can actually orchestrate AI and no-code tools effectively? Like, is that will be, I guess, the one of the main requirements, would you say, or the actual design skills is quite valuable? What do you think we'll see moving forward?
I think the design skills are really still valuable, mainly because if you don't understand what's going on behind the scenes, you don't understand the fundamentals, then you're still going to come out with, if you input shit, you're going to come out with shit. So that's kind of one key area. You can give someone that maybe hasn't been exposed to kind of key design patterns and understanding of your end-to-end workflows, and it could be a bit of a spaghetti and a bit of a mess. It would be the same as like I can be quite dangerous within these no-code tools, but I'm by no means a developer or coder. So it can often get into a series of like spaghetti code where you may, if you have a working product, you may need to pass that on to an engineer or a software developer to make best use out of that particular product. And the same could be said for, say, like someone that doesn't know a huge amount about design and is just playing around in these products, and wants that specific UI to be better than what it currently is.
Yeah. So do you think there's a risk of over relying on AI, especially like in the early stages of design career? So if people who early in their career just start jumping on all these AI tools and produce everything using prompts, do you think it's actually can be a risk for their future career, or is it totally fine to do?
It's fine to do within reason. I say that because if it's outputting something that you don't understand, and this is the same for anything with AI, you're taking something at face value. You need to be questioning what you see and what you do to say, oh, well, is that the right design pattern for that particular visualization or workflow? Can I be able to represent this in a better way? Are these requirements that I've given the AI correct, or has it interpreted what I've inputted as something completely different? So I think always questioning what is coming out from that AI to be able to improve that and iterate going forward.
Yeah. We have a question related to that. Sneha, she's a UX designer based in Melbourne, looking for a new role in UX design and currently upskilling herself in AI. So she said, I recently heard somewhere skills can be taught, but taste can't be taught. Made me feel quite secure between AI taking away the job market. So what do you think about the taste? Is it like, what is your interpretation, I guess?
Yeah, I guess taste, I'm guessing, is your design style, right?
Yeah.
And we're seeing a lot of very bland UI out there at the moment. You've gone from stuff which is quite skeuomorphic, where like if you kind of move from or to Apple about 10, 12 years ago, their design style was like a lot, I don't want to say messier, but it was a lot more interesting than what it is today. And the same could be said for a lot of design styles out there. You would see like a lot of brands as well have gone to that the standard of simplifying a lot of their brands, and it does have that question of, are we going to this whole end-to-end bland experience? um, I think it's a very very good question around being able to leverage and take what you have from an AI output, and then being able to apply some of the fundamentals that you've learned within your design career to give it that pizzazz and something that is extra special, as we are seeing a lot of stuff which is relatively similar. You could just put a logo on there and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between A or B, which
Yeah.
is quite funny.
So yeah, so I think we definitely seen a lot of sort of, as you mentioned, like a bland like designs and everything looking just, I guess, simple and nothing really like special there sometimes. Like, do you think it's just because we're moving too fast? Like everyone just want to like move so quickly, just put something out there. And with AI tools, we're doing it even quicker, and people just want to put put something out there. They don't care anymore. Like before, people really like make an effort to design the logo and to design the, even like, I don't know, website and the experience. Where now it's all just like go, go, go. Let's just put something there. AI does a good enough job. That's fine.
Again, it depends on the particular use case. If you're trying to find like a product market fit, then it's how do you market your product. It's not necessarily about the branding. Are you providing value to your users? And with that, it's looking at, well, how can I apply the right systems and workflows to those people at the right time, as opposed to UI. So looking
Hmm.
more at the user experience there. And I think as a first pass, if you're trying to attain product market fit, um, or or validating a hypothesis, then quick and dirty is fine. It's once you've got that product market fit, you can start to go deeper and ensure that you are building the right end-to-end tools and platforms and design style. And again, that kind of moves itself towards what type of organization are you working for? Is it a um, big four bank which has like a series of very distinctive brands and workflows and millions of customers, or is it a product where you're working for or building something out for 100 customers, and they're starting to grow their customer base? At that point, the user experience is a lot more important to ensure, like, okay, well, how can you build the next feature or function to to be validated to that next stage?
Yeah. I think everyone sort of probably want a bit of a demo. We did talk about those few tools that you're using. Can you give us a bit of a demo? What how you actually use the Lovable and in this case?
Yeah, sure. So to start, I wouldn't go straight into Lovable. I would build out a really kind of standardized prompt. With Lovable, there's a GPT here called Lovable Prompt Assistant. If you just search that within your GPTs, you'll be able to find it. And then just kind of put something quite simple as to, okay, I want to create a dashboard using modern UI. Tailwind is a design system, so you're referencing what you want to leverage. Obviously, the more deeper your prompt, the better you'll get out. But as you can see here, it started to essentially build out those prompts with a bit more expertise there than what I've initially put in. In addition, you've got some additional prompts which you can look at leveraging and using. And then with that, you can also interact and start sketching a series of ideas, which can then also be inputted directly to the tool. So going to that, you can see here I've inputted some of the prompts, and as you can see, I've just copied and pasted what we've had within the GPT, and it's provided a series of recommendations. This is the design approach. I then also provided like a screenshot of the dashboard, and with that dashboard, it's then started to build that out. Now, based off of the comment that we had earlier around like bland UI, yes, it does kind of give that high level bland type of look and feel. But for something which is a starting point where you've got your scaffolding all together, this is something that you can look at taking away and looking at building out more in depth within Figma. Say, for example, if I don't like the high level KPI sections within this dashboard, I can directly click on these to say, okay, I want that to change and be visualized more as, let's say, a high level number KPI as opposed to using these icons here. Again, by being able to do this and spending more than just 5 minutes, but myself and Jana spent 5 minutes just discussing this before the session. You can spend 3-4 hours in this and get to a working level type of prototype, which you can then push and publish directly to code, which I feel is really kind of quite special. In addition to that, I would recommend particularly students of mine to play around with this and see like and be objective in how this has been produced, and thinking of, okay, well, how can I make this better with what I already know through my UX learning and fundamentals.
Yeah, so look, if one person now can do the things, do in 5 minutes, something that will take usually like few hours, and maybe, do something in a day that the whole team used to do, like, what does it mean for long-term, I guess, demand in those roles? Like, so do you think we'll see in general, like a decline? So like, I don't know, if the company had 5 UX designers, for example, do they only gonna like leave one now because he can produce everything so much quicker?
We've seen that happen. We've seen that happen in the last year or two, particularly with tech layoffs within the US, and then that has a follow-on effect through the Australian market. And obviously, the Australian market's a lot smaller than the US. So yeah, we have seen that trimming of teams, particularly in your kind of early stage startups where you used to have maybe someone that did purely just the UX and UI. Now there may be working across just both of those at the same time.
Do you think it makes sense maybe take other responsibilities on board? Like, for example, maybe people will expect someone who in UX take more product responsibilities, or maybe like delivery responsibilities, or things like that. So do you think like it's worth like cross skilling to some of the roles as well, or is it better just to I don't know, deeper your knowledge and be that one person who will stay? So what do you think?
Again, another really good question. I think it's constantly moving. Like my wife, for example, she's a product manager, and she does a lot of work with requirements, and then sometimes gets her hands dirty with Figma. Now, I wouldn't say she's too dangerous within Figma, but she understands like some of the key fundamentals of UX design and is able to represent that with requirements by prompting into something like this to get to an outcome that she can then articulate to a series of designers, and then they'll build something out for the requirements of the business to get to that point. So I think we've seen in the last like couple of years that a lot more designers are taking that responsibility of product and being that conduit between the business requirements and the user requirements. So it's definitely changing, and always changing. I think again, looking at the front end developer type role, if this continually gets better, then being able to understand that end to end experience and how everything sticks together, then by being able to prompt your way to a working product is going to be highly valuable.
Yeah, pretty much almost moving to that web development straight away, where the web development will be done by AI.
Yeah, I again, I think we're in a similar type of situation where you've had like design teams that have shrunk. Development teams in some places have also shrunk because of the use of things like Copilot and these no code type tools. So it's really kind of important to ensure that you understand those key fundamentals. And like I said, I'm someone that can code, but not wholly that dangerous with it. So you do need to have that core understanding of what you're doing before you pass on to that expertise that can do what that and what the essentially the AI is doing in the back end.
Yeah. Anish have some question. I'm a product designer based in Adelaide. I've been in design for over a decade. With AI, I'm seeing a lot of junior designers and devs getting jobs done really quickly. The thing is, they don't fully understand the core principles or the thought process behind. How do they actually grow into senior roles later on?
Very, very good question. I think it's through practice, and it's not necessarily understanding the craft of what you're doing. It's also understanding the business context, and being able to overlay, well, what is the business context compared to what you're doing from a core design principles perspective. In addition to that, it's also things like soft skills and how do you interact with your team members and people around you to ensure that you're all working to the same outcome and you're going in the same direction. I'm sure there's other sessions that you've done in the past which have kind of dived down into the areas of being able to grow in your career from a seniority perspective, and that I think those really talk to that.
Yeah, it's definitely few talks we've done. Even last week, Raj was talking about like moving to leadership role in tech and some of the skills you need. But I guess so. It feels like when we're talking about AI, and it doesn't matter which role we're talking, if it's a developer, UX design, or other roles in the business. So it feels like it's more about the knowing the business, understanding the business, understanding a problem becomes more and more important in any role. And so the being that strategist or frame the problem correctly, that seems like the most valuable skills any role you take now, because AI does take some sort of implementation, like execution, away from us. Like, would you agree that that's sort of where we're moving?
I think that's the way it's always been, to be fair. Like, as particularly if you want to grow in seniority within your career, the start of your career is mostly down to craft and being able to understand, well, what can I influence from my design perspective, and then it grows into, well, how can I influence the teams around me, and then eventually getting up to how can I provide business value to the end product. So it's always that is always the end goal, as to being able to push the needle in the right direction for your stakeholders and shareholders and shareholder value.
I mean, so there's always just two cases your job needed. You either can make money to the business or save money to the business. So
Exactly.
if you're not doing those two functions, then your job pretty much doesn't exist.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess how the UX UX designers, or it's a lot. I guess we talk about a lot of different titles in UX, but how the designers can use at the moment quickly show they can deliver some impact for the business. What's, I guess, if AI doing a lot of work, like what would be like the top tip if you're starting your role, how you can quickly show that you actually bring value
to a new role, or if you're applying to a role?
No, then you already started, like when you already started new role with with so many roles being cut, like, so how can I actually show that you bringing value to the business, that you're not replaceable?
I guess if you're just starting out, the first 3 months is just to really dive into your craft and ensuring that you're, one, understanding the business, and then two, you're being able to deliver what your job role essentially wants you to deliver. By expediting some of that process to AI, you can do some of that at speed now. Even utilizing like ChatGPT for building out things like journey maps and personas, and ensuring that you can run it at speed with some of those things. Obviously, you're going to have to cross-check what has been put in, and ensuring that you are being hypercritical of some of the outputs of that AI, and then applying business context on top of that is I'd say the key way forward there.
Yeah, makes sense. Guys, we have a time for maybe one more question. So if you have any more questions to Sam, please put it in the comments. And we also have a giveaway, the exciting giveaway that's And the giveaway, as usual, is a 30 minutes coffee chat with Sam to be able to pick his brain further and ask more questions. And also, for those who's quite early in their UX career, I really recommend to watch our previous video with Sam, where we talk about top tips for landing your first UX design job. So so if you're quite early in your career, like definitely go back to that video on the channel to learn more, like a general tips of getting the job. I think we have one more question. Sophia is here. I'm a product designer based in Brisbane. I wanted to ask if you would recommend showcasing the use of AI in a case study in your portfolio.
It depends on the story that you want to tell within your case study. If your case study is centered around like building an AI product, then maybe. I think one thing that a lot of junior designers and people going into the market get caught up on is the cookie cutter process or the design process that you did. And I always see portfolios and case studies that said, I did the traditional double diamond approach where I did X, Y, and Z. And for a hiring manager, it is incredibly frustrating to see 100 of those portfolio pieces where it just shows a process. So if your process has AI in it and it's really important to the story that you want to tell, then great. But if it isn't, then I would just have it on the side, and it's just like, well, yeah, you've just used AI to help expedite your process. A lot of design roles, you do kind of have the chance to present if you do go into interview to present your case study. That's when maybe you can talk about your process in a bit more detail, but you want to keep stuff very high level before going into that.
I guess like you wouldn't put anything else extra in general. Like there is no need to put something extra, even if it's AI.
Sorry, what do you mean extra?
I mean, like if AI don't need to be there, don't need to put it just to put it in there.
Yeah,
same as anything else.
It doesn't need to be there because of just it can be a buzzword for a lot of people.
Yeah, but I guess that's one of the strategy. Just put a lot of buzzwords in it.
Yeah, buzzword bingo.
Yes, yeah, that's what's been happening, I guess, with a lot of events these days too. Like as long as you put AI in the event title, that'll be a great, will be a great event. Yes. So if there's no AI, then that's outdated event now.
Yeah.
Exactly that. So Sam, just back to the giveaway. I'm gonna do announcement for next week, and you choose the person you're gonna have a virtual coffee chat with to talk about their UX career. And while you're doing that, the next week we're going to run a workshop with Ben about how to write a tech resume for Australian job market. Really relevant workshop for those who particularly for those who are looking for their first tech job in Australia. You maybe just arrived here and you've been applying and for a few jobs and you haven't heard anything back. So you might need to adapt your resume a bit for Australian market. And we do really recommend to come to this event. And I also recommend to watch some of our previous discussion on the topic. And you can see there's no AI in this in this event title. I mean, you can use AI, but regardless, you can make sure that AI give you the right the right ideas before you put them into resume. So we might use a bit of AI in this workshop, but the reality is a few things that AI will not be able to fix for you in your resume. So that's what we're doing next week. And week after, and also on the weekend, it will be tech walking on Sunshine Coast. So if you're in the sunny Queensland, make sure to join it on Sunday. And then the weekend after, it will be a tech walking in Sydney. So hopefully sunny as well. Hopefully the spring is already here. So make sure to register as well. We also have a usual tech walking coming in Melbourne. There will be another one in Adelaide. We had a great walk in Adelaide this weekend, so it will be another one coming in October, another one coming in Melbourne. There's a few more people contact me for other locations. So stay tuned if you're in another location. We're coming as well. So Brisbane is on the list, Perth is on the list, but yes, it hasn't been organized yet. So exciting times. So Sam, who's going to have a virtual coffee chat with you?
Yeah, tough one. I think Anishi's question, I think if I got that name correctly.
Yes, Anish, yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good question. So yeah, I'd say that one. But I guess if anyone wants to kind of reach out on LinkedIn and has any questions and wants to catch up over a virtual coffee, then more than happy to.
Guys, especially I guess Niha, Anish, Sophia, make sure to connect with Sam on LinkedIn. You can see his name here. And I'll follow up as well. So networking, remember networking, really important to build your career. So you need to make sure you connect with the right people. So do the right thing and connect with Sam. And of course, if the tech walking exists in your location, make sure to come for the tech walk. And if it doesn't exist in your location, message me and I'll try my best to make it happen. And Sam, just to finish, yeah.
I walk in Bali.
Yeah, that's it. I know that will be wonderful. Yes, it will be too hot. Maybe Bali not the oh, it's need to be at night. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Sam, and just to finish this live stream, if you would leave our audience with like one, I guess, top advice to summarize everything we spoke about today, just what would be your top advice for someone who's building their UX career right now?
Top advice. AI isn't going to be taking your job, but you need to be leveraging it in a way which can make you more powerful as a designer, so you can make that your superpower.
Yes, use AI and increase your superpower. So, and I think, we all know the AI not going to take our jobs. The people who using AI to be their superpowers going to take our jobs. So make sure don't be the person who left behind. So, upskill yourself and upskill yourself not only with AI tools, upskill yourself with the business skills, stakeholder management, and all other, I guess, soft skills that's been talked about again and again when we're talking about AI. Thank you, Sam, for joining me this evening. Thank you, everyone, for questions. And I'm sure we'll see Sam on this channel sometime, maybe next year.
Yeah. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you. See you.